What's this app doing? F1 United. I understand that. I know what I'm watching here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I know what I'm watching. Chances are. Okay. Got my goldfish. Gonna taste good. Got lemonade, got Pepsi. It's all good. That was the lemonade. It's too cold to drink normally. It's too cold for it to hit my teeth because I have very sensitive teeth, so for a bit without the lemonade actually touching my teeth. Nobody cares, Dick. You don't even drive in. Why?
And the home of a circuit in the Americas. This place is pretty unique. Why?
This music capital of the world.
Music capital of the world. Has anyone ever told that man? Because Nashville, Tennessee, USA also exists. Oh yeah, here we go. Volume up. I'm hyped for this. Let's hope we get 2 good US Grand Prix in a row now. Let's hope it's not as mediocre as Miami either. Here we go.
Well, here we go in a place where it's all about the Longhorns, it's all about the horse. Welcome to Austin and the 2022 Formula One United States Grand Prix. It is the 10th time we have raced the circuit of the Americas. It's round 19 in 2022, and the Constructors' Championship could be settled today. So this is Longhorn and Dallas Cowboys.
It will be settled today.
19 points, tap once already this far. Two Red Bulls didn't make it to the chicken flag today around this 3.42 mile circuit. There are 20 corners, 11 to the left and 9 to the right. 6 braking events, 3 of which described a maximum speed of about 196 miles an hour as you approach turn 12 in the heavy braking zone there.
How's Chase doing?
Well, there's always a chance to overtake. 2021, this was Kimi Räikkönen. Fernando Alonso, world champions, battling away through turn 1 and down the hill into turn 2. Let's go towards that turn 12 now. Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, and Lance Stroll. 3 of them.
Why is Bottas racing Yuki and Lance?
In 2019, and he was involved in that.
In a highlight from last year when he was in Mercedes. Proves why Valtteri was not good in the Mercedes.
Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin. You can go round the outside as the lap progresses down at turn 18. There are plenty of places to try and get your overtake done. Certainly.
Oh, what the hell happened to Chase? Why is he dropping?
To the hard, it's protecting front tires. The key to a good race strategy today. And here is the starting grid. Because of penalties. Esteban Ocon, one of them, he stops in the pit lane, and Yuki Tsunoda, who took a late penalty, new gearbox.
Interesting, but
and Nicholas Latifi, the fifth.
Second.
Kevin Magnussen promoted up to 13, being knocked out in Q1. It's Pierre Gasly 11. Charles Leclerc with a 10-play penalty. Starts Ferrari.
God, it's still cold.
The second time in 2 races, alongside Sergio Perez, who takes a 5-place penalty.
I say that like it's been an hour and I should be warming up by now. It's been like 5 minutes.
Lance Stroll has his highest start since pole in Turkey in 2020. Lando Norris is 6th alongside him. Mercedes, 2 cars in the top 4.
Come on, George.
Lewis Hamilton equals his best start of the year.
Come on.
Max Verstappen on the front row, and the driver starting second has led the first lap in 4 of the last 6 races here. And it is not car number 16, but car number 55 of the Ferrari that starts.
If George Russell could get a good start, he might have a chance today, but if he can't get on the podium, turn 1, I don't know. I don't think, but you never know. Cars in Leclerc out back working their way through. Stuff could happen to them. Safety cars could happen.
They're really out there driving for individual race victories.
Never know.
I've noticed over the decades,
Here we go.
They go harder. Because there are no excuses. There are no playing the point game or going for safety, and it's great. So let's hope we can have some good wheel-to-wheel action out there this afternoon. The first 12 start on medium compound tyres, and then I believe the first one on the hard compound is Kevin Magnussen. Yeah, the vast in the first 12 on the yellow medium compound and the hard.
Well, George Russell is not on the hard tire, so one's going to flip down into turn 1 most likely.
Carlos Sainz a bit sluggish to get away as we start the formation lap, and we say
Oh God! So what you're saying is he's got to start maybe. I don't know. George's practice starts were not very good.
And then went on to buy not 1 but 2 Formula 1 teams.
So we'll see.
Sadly passed away yesterday at the age of 78. Formula 1, those Dietrich Mateschitz, great debt. Has that Red Bull years, and well, here to celebrate potentially a constructors championship.
Yeah, it's fun for Dietrich. I'm making proud today.
Pierre Gasly, one of many drivers who say we owe Dietrich.
Caution for Nemec.
And they do, yeah, 8 of the 20.
No, he was doing good.
Played a fundamental.
Oh, I'm not even watching this Miami race, and I already hate it.
Career. And of course, many of the drivers who are not on the grid today, this Steve Boemi, John Eric, have had a chance to come and show their talents, but meanwhile, it's all eyes on what is a great racetrack. It really does well. It's bumpy in places, the cars move around, and the tailwind and the crosswind element that we've talked about through the pre-show is going to be key. And we may see a few errors as drivers drove the car the little stick, and suddenly it won't.
Going into turn 1, off that inside line, the best line. Lewis Hamilton, it's Max Verstappen.
Oh boy.
Race, and you're talking about drivers getting their elbows out into the pre-competitive to all trying to have a 1 in 4.
You must finish, but they'll be, and they know that they can gain a place or 2 up there. And that's the easiest place to take, is on the opening corners of the lap, of course. Now, Sainz then, that time on
Well,
pole,
Carlos is slowing him up. It's fair to say.
having warmed everything up nicely as they're steaming at a turn 9.
Talking of warming things up nicely, Mercedes had changed brake material on Lewis Hamilton.
It's fair to say Sainz is really holding up the field coming to the grid.
Complaining that they just weren't working, the steam is getting less friction on the left brake, so they changed that brake material. What has he had to do on this lap to get those brakes up to standard that he needs for a race?
Well, he's working the pedal hard and you're pushing the just bias front to rear, but it will put a doubt in his head, steaming up the hill there inside of the cars, whether he's going to have the balance of the brakes, the retardation that he needs. But you're right, you can go.
All right, Nemec only spun it. All good there. Could still come back from a simple spin.
It's only a short dash to that first turn, 240 metres, but you can brake that much later because it rises some 30 metres into the sky. Here comes Esteban Ocon out into the sunshine. He will start from
Here we go.
to get grid penalties in this race. It was a bad qualifying day for him yesterday.
Ocon at the end of the pit lane.
You can see that breeze, the high-speed section. So could be a bit of a roller coaster.
Oh, he is angled towards Lewis. He wants that outside.
Around 53 laps. Let's see how we fare. We're all
right, here we go. 5 red lights.
Here at the circuit of the Americas, we're in the Lone Star State, and it's lights out and away we go.
George got a bad getaway.
It's
going better.
Verstappen's ahead of Carlos Sainz, and then there's a lock up from behind George Russell.
Oh, oh. There goes Sainz.
And he's gone from pole to last.
Oh, Lance Stroll is up in the third. What happened? George hit Carlos and Max is already running away with it. It's already over. Well, great race, everyone.
And Max Verstappen continues on his way then with Lewis Hamilton behind the crowd roaring away.
Sergio.
Sergio Perez just ahead of Valtteri Bottas, got compromised and now could get overtaken
Whoa.
by Alex.
They're all over the place back there.
Bottas actually got shot clean off the racetrack there.
It's been noted by race control causing a collision. Carlos Sainz, who tagged him.
People are going for it.
Gets tagged coming out of
They are
11.
going
You
for
see
it.
Sergio Perez ahead of Pierre Gasly. Alex Albon going wheel to wheel. The Alfa Romeo. Here comes Charles Leclerc. Sainz says he thinks he's got a puncher. And there is George Russell ahead of Sebastian Vettel. It could well be that George Russell was the man to hit Carlos Sainz right at the
Yeah,
start.
he was.
Replay at the moment.
They will take penalty for that. Yes, the same. We're outbreaking each other, locked up, sailing into the apex.
All right.
Your front tire up to Fulcher.
The ones we wanted to see the pace here to catch Max.
Mick Schumacher, the scraps down at the rear of the field. Snowder ahead then. Mick Schumacher, but out in
It's just hope and pray.
Stroll is up in the third place. George Russell staying in fourth. Sebastian Vettel is
That Lewis Hamilton
US Grand Prix.
catches Max Verstappen.
But let's see what happens with George Russell now. Carlos Sainz. Lewis Hamilton on the right side as he then goes. Sainz came across George Russell. Who was at fault
You
there?
can't blame that on anyone.
The racing line up there. George trying to get in the apex, but he was all locked up. George Russell hadn't got full control of his car at the time. Perfectly with his
Sainz is out.
control on the racing line. I think Russell took a penalty for that.
And that
Really?
was great for Carlos Sainz, who has been pushed into garage. His race, wasn't it, from pole for the taking, and it lasted around about one corner. And for the second race run by the end of the first lap, Carlos Sainz is absolutely out of it. That's heartbreaking for him. The stewards have put that incident under investigation.
If Sainz wasn't having bad luck at that, he'd be having no luck at all. That is really unkind and unfair for him. But damage, no, I wonder if there's a bit of damage on the front there of Sergio Perez. But you have to say, Leclerc began to make his way through the quite.
George Russell's the only one who stayed in the same position he started.
Left on the track, Carlos Sainz, that is his sixth DF of the season. Best start, Vettel 5 places, Yuki Tsunoda 5 places, Kevin Magnussen back 5 places. Valtteri Bottas lost 4 places, and already Max Verstappen nearly 2 seconds out in the lead, with Lewis Hamilton behind him, and Lance Stroll running third place. Aston Martin for the second weekend. Start.
He's very good, isn't he? Away from the line and managed to make his way around the chaos that was the Mercedes. Almost 90 degrees, and it's a 5-second time penalty.
Oh.
George Russell causing a collision.
Oh, man.
And in a way, I think that, that's relatively luck.
Yeah.
Considering how much it's cost Sainz and Ferrari.
Yeah, he's out of the race. George Russell will have 5 seconds added, and his first place.
But I don't think that'll actually affect him at all.
So that wouldn't really be that much of a penalty.
No, and they'll stretch that out, won't they? Before they're thinking they want to eke these tyres out now. The 2-stop. But what George Russell needs to do is clear his head on that one and make sure that he can then distract him.
Oh.
Bottas is all
Seeing
over
Lewis
the
catching
way.
Max is bringing back last year vibes. I don't know what's going to happen.
Struggling with his tires
These
already.
two haven't
It's a
truly
real
battled
test
yet this
for
year.
tire management this afternoon.
The Mercedes has been just so bad.
On those tires, and Alex Albon seems to be struggling a bit
But the
more.
one time they did
Right
come
next to
close,
Fernando Alonso,
when
disappearing off to downtown Austin,
at
through
the exit of the
corner
pit lane
18.
in Canada, I forget who it was,
Warning for that. You're not allowed to keep running off.
they almost wrecked each other.
Perez then having a look at the inside.
So this, if they battle each other, it might be like last year, even though they're not like, tied in the championship anymore.
Weekend long, so no surprises to see them doing well, but third and fifth. And we're on lap 4. I would imagine that's even beyond the wildest dreams of Lawrence Stroll. So we can have a look from the helicopter shot now.
George got a good start.
Put his car in the right place, took advantage of the lock-up from Williams. There's the tackle, Russell on Carlos. Going round
I don't know though.
Thank you very much.
Sainz cut across.
Getting too much wheel spin all through the first and second phase of the start. And then one run and it has to come the throttle and side point that George Russell you do make an
I think Charles Leclerc is compromised here as well. He loses places in that chain reaction and brilliant reaction. Lewis had to go right at the spinning Carlos Sainz before he got hit by the Ferrari. So lightning reactions by Lewis Hamilton protecting him, and well, sadly, Carlos Sainz can. Utter disappointment. Let's look at the start from Lando Norris's McLaren.
No, it's a good start.
hit the ground and braking.
That sideline is better than the outside.
There's an element here of it's the
Until Carlos Sainz
first
spins
lap,
and
I think that's been
puts it all up.
linked also to the penalty that George Russell has taken there in terms of limiting that penalty. But I'm going to assume that sort of damaged the transmission in some way, plus the on the Ferrari. I'd like to see it from Sainz's point of view because he did hesitate. He sort of he cut in a little bit, although there was inside of him, and almost as if he couldn't get the car up and running again.
And we're aboard with George Russell, car ahead of him is Lance Stroll. Russell's within DRS range. The Aston Martin now. Perez Sebastian Vettel while replays Perez up another place. Tiffy seems to be tumbling down the order a little bit. Has he had something of an off as we head on to the back straight with George Russell?
Come on, George.
George Russell has DRS that will be operational, and he's gaining. And he's
Pretty bumpy for a track that just opened 10 years ago.
Lance Stroll's going to fight this one because I think the Mercedes has just took pace with that extra 17 kilometers.
Oh, yeah. George podium.
The DRS. George Russell is up
The fact that Perez is right behind him.
away at his first. Ted Kravitz, good afternoon to you.
Howdy, Crofty. Yes, I've got news from Ferrari where they had to retire Carlos's car due to
Perez is
water leak.
damaged.
So actually, I know they like Texas, but that was a bit of a T-bone, wasn't it, into the Ferrari from George Russell, damaged the radiator. There was a water leak caused by contact with Russell's Mercedes. Team radio.
Takes it really quickly. It's very gusty.
I just wondered there, do we have been that flat? Is it?
And I saw it earlier on and took myself out of the Red Bull and got damaged from wing. But what's happened to Kevin on 3 occasions, the stewards will probably pull that in and make a change that.
Yeah, we're early in pit stop to do that. Sergio Perez move on to the back of Vettel. If it is popping away, it's not hurting the pace of the Red Bull. I wondered what was happening to Nicholas Latifi as he started tumbling down the order, and that's the reason why a spin where Antonio Giovinazzi had his
T
spin
giving everybody a nice little advantage.
and
Just being nice, only using 0.0
yes, service new tires for Nicholas Latifi in and out. Pit stop on the ends. Nicholas Latifi, Carlos Sainz is out of the mix. Here comes Sergio Perez, and there goes his front wing end.
Oh.
Move over to the side as he moves. Sebastian Vettel. So into fourth place, but now compromised with that front wing end disappearing.
It's less compromised though in calling in for mandatory stop to change the front wing, which takes me is if it's a straight fight now between Russell and Perez for what could be the final place on the podium. Clear the Aston Martin, but an awful way to go yet.
There certainly is. We talk about tyre management, keeping those tyres alive. Could be down to the last before this race really starts to unravel. Making the best of it so far, Charles Leclerc lost places at the start, but he's now up to 7th. He's got himself past Gasly and Norris. And out in front, 2.5 seconds. The gap between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. It's like you've just gone back 12 months. Verstappen's leading.
Strong that 5th and 6th is so weird.
Lewis Hamilton faster, a good quarter of a second faster than Max Verstappen on the previous lap. So, yeah, get a match replay here from last year.
So Verstappen, 2.5 seconds there backs from Lewis Hamilton. George Russell with a 5 to come at his pit stop, currently running in 3rd place. Sergio Perez runs 4th, and he might have a longer pit stop if he has to change his front wing. Here goes Pierre Gasly on the McLaren of Lando Norris. That looked rather easy with DRS. Is it the old switcheroo though? But Lando Norris trying to get him back through the next corner, not quite. And there is Valtteri Bottas just hanging back, waiting to feed off whatever scraps might be coming his way. Whilst we watch Lando Norris trying to get back ahead of the AlphaTauri, let's talk to his CEO.
In NASCAR, they went 3 wide through this corner right here. They should try that in F1.
I'm sure you love the fact that your man is behind the AlphaTauri at the moment.
No, it's excited here to be in Austin, but yeah, we seem to be slipping a little bit backwards here. He got caught out at the start when Carlos spun, so let's see if we can recover here.
But your battle is with Alpine really today, isn't it? And so far looking an awful lot better you than it's looking for Alpine in that battle for the championship.
Yeah, long way to go, but we're in the points now. Too many points. We got Bottas pretty hard, so hopefully we can get a little bit from the grid.
You've given the driver Sergio Perez banging wheels up there. Told Lando and Daniel.
I told them to go a lot faster than me, and they said that was going to be easy.
Did you seem to be out there for about 20 laps this morning, Zach? Obviously chose not. Did they not show you a checkered flag or a red light?
No, I thought it was funny. I was out there and thinking, I hope this red comes on soon. I'm going to look like a whip if I come in before they do. And then I thought it was broken for a second.
I hope the neck's okay. We'll be back with you in a little while. Sergio Perez getting closer to George Russell.
And George Russell, unsurprisingly, has got a bit of damage, hasn't he, on the right?
Yeah, he does.
Corner of his front wing, where he effectively T-boned, as Ted said, into the side of the Ferrari. But it looks like it's very much staying in situ. So, as I said, they can't now call Perez in for a dangerous part on his car. But when you saw that take off down the back straight, you can understand why they do that, because it's a blade of carbon fibre at a couple of 100 miles an hour. And you've got to think of the marshal workers, got to think of first, well, only think about them in terms of
behind George Russell currently. He's got pace, an increased pace ahead of that.
Hamilton really losing. Russell with damage though. Keeping pace with Hamilton. Just lost 5 seconds behind the Aston Martin and is going to lose 5 more.
Through corners such as this. If it was this time last year, Perez would have dropped back by now to stop his tyres overheating, but he is able to run that much closer with these new regulations. We can also watch Lando Norris in pursuit of Pierre Gasly, ahead of Gasly, Charles Leclerc gaining a little on Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, we saw Leclerc earlier on struggling a bit, sliding around a bit. He's stalled out, hasn't he? I mean, it's 21 seconds for a pit stop. Leclerc in P7 is almost a pit stop behind the leaders now, so he's not making the progress. It's tucked up in behind the 2 Aston Martins that we expected.
Well, let's get some more info on him. Ted Kravitz.
Yeah, just talking about Charles Leclerc, tracking his lap times, Martin, and he is able to do the kind of lap time that Max Verstappen has just done. So something like a 1:42.8, something like that. But then he gets in the dirty area of Sebastian Vettel in front of him, the Aston Martin, and that gap has not been below a second. Leclerc has not been able to break a second gap to Sebastian Vettel ahead of him in the Aston Martin.
2 seconds, Ted. Lewis Hamilton talking about tyres already. We're only on lap 10.
Yeah, but he's been giving it some, hasn't he, Lewis Hamilton? And Max Verstappen's engineer has been keeping him up to date with Hamilton's progress. They do see a threat from Hamilton today. Make no mistake about that. With Charles Leclerc becalmed slightly behind the Aston Martin, they're taking the threat of Mercedes seriously at Red Bull.
And Sebastian Vettel can actually play a really important role here for his teammate Lance Stroll by trying to protect him from Charles Leclerc for that little bit longer. Leclerc's now got within that magic second, Martin.
Yeah, the two Aston Martins can drag each other along a little bit like Pete Gasly's doing there. It must be like being in the Tour de France out front. The two cars behind him are opening their rear wing, which is worth about 0.6 of a second when you've got them open in all the zones around here. As he's pushing a hole in the air in the AlphaTauri, and then directly behind him, of course, Norris and Bottas.
Hamilton just got a fastest first sector with damaged tires.
But he's settled down now.
Unbelievable.
You know, it was Perez that ran into the side of him.
On board with Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly the car ahead. Norris has got that DRS. Is it going to be worth enough to try and make a move as we listen to Verstappen's radio?
I'm struggling a lot with the wind. Understood.
I think all the drivers are struggling quite a bit with the wind today. It is gusting. It is quite severe. Verstappen leads from Hamilton. You know, I said it was like going back 12 months. It's a bit more like going back 12 months. We hear Lewis Hamilton talking about his tyres starting to suffer a little bit. Then he goes and bangs in the fastest first sector.
This isn't like 12 months because I'm actually rooting for Hamilton over Verstappen today. Not the other way around.
Sometimes, but what he's saying is, I can see my front left tire.
Alpha in the pits, Bottas.
An undercut will be powerful here, and that might well be a smart move to get him past Gasly.
As Daniel Ricciardo gets ahead of Mick Schumacher, and Esteban Ocon does the same thing. Another pit stop, second of this race. Noda's coming in.
Russell's almost 5 seconds clear of the Aston Martins. I think he should come in soon. Hamilton should come in too.
Here today we're told to bang in a really good lap time to get ahead, but you don't want to stop too early because you'll suffer at the end of your stint.
Be a delay there, didn't there, before Valtteri was released from the pit stop. Good, just a bit of a delay before he actually got away.
And just onto the track behind the Williams of Alex Albon comes Yuki Tsunoda, but it was a decent stop of 2.3 seconds for him. And here comes Charles Leclerc behind Sebastian Vettel. DRS for the Ferrari down the back straight. You can see Lance Stroll ahead in one Aston Martin. Is he going to have his teammate behind him at the end of this lap? Well, looks like Sebastian Vettel is fending off Charles Leclerc for the time being, but look how deep into that corner Sebastian Vettel went there.
That's not in your script.
Obviously concerned by the windy conditions.
That's not. That's the first time I've ever heard him say that.
Get a nasty surprise. Obviously, you're generating a lot of downforce, pushing the cars through the air. That's what the wings and the under tray and all the bits and pieces hang off them do. But if suddenly you've got a wing coming from the side or the back, they're heavily affected.
Just mind that single bump on the run down to turn 12 and try and stay right.
And while we hear that message and ride on board with the Ferrari into the pits, comes Pierre Gasly. Now, we saw Valtteri Bottas trying to pull up the undercut. Bottas is making his way down the pit straight currently. 80 kilometers an hour. Gasly can now release that AlphaTauri. Here comes Valtteri Bottas. That little extra delay in the pit seems to have cost him a bit of a place.
That was a better stop for AlphaTauri, and to say somehow they just didn't seem to release Valtteri, or he wasn't able to drop the clutch quickly enough.
Really get the feeling Sebastian Vettel struggling for grip out there because he's going
I
deeper.
think this is the end of Vettel's 6th place.
All the impetus he needs to use DRS and try and get himself past the former Ferrari driver Sebastian Vettel. Now in the green of Aston Martin, Leclerc has made up.
I forgot these two were former teammates.
It's hammer time.
Now that's something I'm used to hearing.
It's like going to the 2021 season. Hammer time now for Lewis Hamilton. Pit stops coming soon.
Yeah, and he lost 7/10 on the previous lap. He's 4.7 seconds, now 5 seconds behind, as you can see for yourself on the screen. I don't know. It needs to be a big hammer.
Hamilton is into the pit.
Hamilton pits.
Medium tyres off. Lewis Hamilton has 2 new sets of hard compound tyres, as do a lot of drivers. And hard tyre is going to be the favoured race tyre here. You can see mediums going off already after what 12 13 laps of this race so far. Not the quickest pit stop there for Lewis Hamilton, but he's going to come out onto the racetrack behind Sebastian Vettel and the Aston Martin, but crucially I think for them ahead of Lando Norris and the McLaren.
Yeah, and Norris, McLaren have gone a different way. They haven't pitted him to react to Gasly and Bottas to their stop. So Norris is trying to do his own version of hammer time, Lando time.
So it's Max Verstappen from George Russell.
What do you want to do? Free to push.
They can bring him in.
Oh boy.
The undercut probably won't work because Max Verstappen was nearly 5 seconds, or 5 seconds clear of Lewis Hamilton, so he can really go for it if he needs to.
Yeah, he's asking that question because the Mercedes just disappeared out of his mirrors, and he's like, so what are we up to down there?
Sergio Perez has George Russell in his sights. If he can get past the Mercedes, it's a 1-2 at the moment for Red Bull, but let's head down to 10.
But this is crucial. I mean, George Russell, if you want to call it holding up Sergio Perez, that's probably fair to say, is really helping Lewis Hamilton ahead. And that's really something that Mercedes will want to keep an eye on. But I know what you're thinking out there. Oh, I see Lewis Hamilton onto the hard tyre. Could he go to the end? Well, no. The tyre just won't make it. It is lap 12-13. And we are seeing it earlier, aren't we, Crofty? We weren't expecting the pit window to open.
Verstappen in.
At the earliest. But here we go, Max Verstappen in.
Max Verstappen.
And it's a good stop. Stop. It's a good stop as George.
Right in the distance to make his stop, and this will be a bit slower for Russell because he's got a 5-second penalty. Held there for 5 seconds before they can then get to work, changing those medium tyres for the hard compound tyre. Out onto the track comes Verstappen, and is he ahead just of Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin?
Oh, here comes Stroll. Oh man, come on, Stroll. You gotta hang that one around the outside. You gotta try to make that one work.
Touch and go, wasn't it? That's worked out well to make that one really pay off, and now he'll take off.
Sergio Perez is taking off. He's out in front on his own at the moment. He has not pitted, and he's just set the fastest first sector of the race so far. Perez leads from Verstappen, and then comes Stroll, who hasn't pitted yet. Charles Leclerc, who's now up to 4th, and he's on the mediums that he started this race with, to Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton, who has stopped. Hamilton onto the hard compound tyre, as they all are, after making their first pit stops. And, well, after
What happened to that whole thing early in the season where Max Verstappen's engine couldn't make it past 20-something laps? Can we just bring that back for the rest of the season now that he's already been crowned champion?
No, there's no point in losing too much time over Leclerc. He'll be through at some point in that car with his speed. But he's now
I think Red Bull should.
And it's really taken a little bit out of this race, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Effectively losing the 2 Ferraris from one with a penalty and one with a shunt.
And also losing one of the Mercedes to a 5-second penalty. Will Sergio Perez have to change that front wing when he comes in for his pit stop? We're about to find out. The end plate has disappeared. So Sergio Perez is going to stop right now. And they get to work. And they did not need to change that front wing.
Front wing change.
Adds the tyre there as well.
Yeah, he'll overcut George Russell because of the penalty. So
2.1.
that is why they didn't want to risk.
My
He's
God.
getting along just fine without the front wing end fence. So that worked very nicely.
It's another cracking pit stop for Sergio Perez. You know, I think he's had the fastest 4 pit stops in 2022. That was a 2.1 second stationary. Well done, McLaren. 2.4 seconds with Lando Norris. I wonder if he stops on his marks, where the mechanics say that is the ideal place to stop, a little better than some others.
Oh, they practice it. They video it from the top. They practice it relentlessly because, you know,
Russell
they're sitting
fastest
there
in the
with-
3rd sector. Yes.
with-
Yes.
Basically,
Yeah.
we just picked them
Now
up,
we need a
press
safety
the-
car.
press the trigger, and
We get ourselves a good old safety car.
Just shuffle slightly.
George Russell and Lewis Hamilton and Perez are all right back in the mix.
Bouncing along with the bumps, Lewis Hamilton currently running in 5th place in his Mercedes. Ahead of him, Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll. Aston Martin being in the top 3 for the first time this season. Hamilton saying the tyres don't feel too great. That's how he feels at the moment. lap's time, he might set fastest lap of the race. You never know. With the way the Mercedes takes a bit of time to bring those tyres up to temperature and to get into the working window. Ahead of Lance Stroll, Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen out in front on the hard tyre and going well. Into the pits, I think. We're going to see an Aston Martin as the crew come out. It is Lance Stroll. Let's throw down to 10. He's right down there.
Only
Crofty, I'm right here, so let's take a look right in front of
only
me.
3.5 hours
Going on, so,
until the Yankee season ends, or at least the start of their final game begins.
Going longer than most. They've decided to stick with the medium tyres. So
At home,
tyres work well for them today, Aston Martin.
they're
That bodes
going
well.
to get
So,
destroyed.
has he cleared Vettel now? I think
Probably shut out as well.
his race strategy.
As Lance Stroll comes out behind his teammate Fernando
Yo,
Alonso.
is Lewis Hamilton
This is what's just
porpoising
happened to his
again?
teammate this
Are we
season.
bringing this
Lewis
back?
Hamilton getting past Sebastian Vettel and into turn
Are we
one.
bringing this back?
Has just set fastest first
He
sector
he hasn't
once
done
again.
any porpoising since Spa, lap 1.
Fernando Alonso, you can see right up there in 7th place at the moment. He hasn't pitted yet. His teammate,
And even then, he got help from another car.
he started on the hard compound tyre from the pit lane.
George Russell was behind Alonso, Fernando Alonso, for a little while, further compromised his position until he got through. So, yeah, Russell now then can get back on. He's served his penalty now, but he's paid that check, and he can see what he can do from here on. But Aston Martin scrub a number of sets of the medium compound tyre.
And nearly rubbing tyre to
Whoa.
Esteban Ocon, and behind him, Mick Schumacher. Ocon up into 9th place. You can just see how the wind is unsettling these cars as they try to get back to the line they want and then get caught by some sort of errant gust.
Yeah, Esteban Ocon, I think he's one of the most aggressive drivers on the track, and I don't say that in a negative way, but and this is where George Russell managed to clear.
Mercedes passing down in the turn 1 a lot.
Yeah, gets it slowed down, rotate, just about made the apex, but there's plenty of space on the outside. And that was a key overtake for Russell's recovery drive.
So, first round of pit stops for the front two sees Max Verstappen 6.4 seconds clear of Lewis Hamilton, who was the man behind him when he pitted. And going through the strategy
Jesus Christ,
alphabet,
Ferrari has a lot of plans for a team that
let's go to race control.
can't execute a pit stop correctly. For a team that almost forgot that cars need 4 tires.
He was told immediately when he put those new tyres on. He had that luxury, of course, of Lewis being stuck behind the traffic. Now he's with the traffic, expect his lap times to improve. Lewis is pushing on, he's just on his personal best, but that really, I feel like that really did hurt Mercedes.
You want to find a window, Martin, and a window that ideally hits you into some clean air.
What are your thoughts on this compound?
Nothing special so far. I mean, that doesn't feel amazing, doesn't feel bad.
Yeah, it's going to be on his Christmas list as a set of hard compound tyres, but obviously there's been some kind of incident between Lance Stroll and Mick Schumacher that's been noted, and having a look for one of them forcing the other off the track. And already Alex Albon, just 18 laps into the race, has had the black and white warning flag for track limits. So another one of those, he'll take a 5-second penalty.
Let's just have a little look now at Pierre Gasly and Kevin Magnussen. That's the favourite overtake, isn't it? End of that long back straight. Gasly with the tribute helmet for Texas this weekend. 4 more races to go at AlphaTauri.
Yellow flag, sector 3. Bottas.
Now, as actually Bottas had a bit of a moment in the final sector. He might well have done a little bit of a spin at turn 19.
Just a
That's why you can
spin.
see some yellow flags being thrown.
If he spun there, and
If he spun there, then he might have backed the car into the inside pit wall, and this could call for a safety car.
they're the moment.
He's in the gravel. Let's go. Safety car.
Spun and beached for Valtteri Bottas, turn 19.
Safety car.
20 miles.
George,
Will this be a safety
here
car?
we
Yes,
go.
it will be a safety car. The safety car has been
Did
deployed.
you just
Now,
drop it?
this
Yep.
could really help Charles Leclerc as we watch Valtteri Bottas
lost the back end. Okay.
Lost the back end. Now, Charles Leclerc is not far away from
Both
finishing
Valtteri
the lap
Bottas
there.
and AJ
Pitting
Allmendinger's
here.
least
There's a
favorite
cheap
gravel
pit stop,
trap.
Martin, coming Charles Leclerc's way.
Yeah, you lose about 11
Oh no, the
seconds when you
Giants
hit
are
other
losing.
safety car conditions instead of the full 21. Plays beautifully into his hands, but they had to
Green Bay is losing again.
such an unsighted, fast part of the lap.
Cincinnati was still winning
So they will
by
pick up
18
Max Verstappen,
last time I
and
checked.
Lewis Hamilton out as well, doesn't it, to get back up to Verstappen, as of course Charles Leclerc pits.
Ted Kravitz down to you.
Claire is in.
It's Plan E. Plan E. This is lucky for us, isn't it? We got a safety car and a very cheap pit stop. So this is just a bit of luck that Ferrari needed today. Charles Leclerc comes out, clears nicely Sebastian Vettel.
Claire's
He's
going to
also
be ahead
very
of
lucky
Russell.
To a cheap pit stop time-wise. It's the medium tyre that goes on.
Leclerc's
Sebastian
back
Vettel.
into
Nice
this
stop for
race.
Martin. And the other person who's going to luck into this is Fernando Alonso. He's made those hard tyres last very well in the opening stint. He's now going to pit for a cheap pit stop under the safety car as well.
Charles Leclerc comes out in 4th place. Sebastian Vettel comes out in 6th place. I would say that's Plan F for Ferrari. Fabulous.
It's worked out an absolute treat for them, hasn't it? And of course, why it's a cheap stop as you're trundling down the pit lane. Meanwhile, your rivals have had to knock.
Well, now that they
40%
are first and second, this might not be the only safety car of the Grand Prix.
At the next point of arrival.
Well, it also does, of course, concertinas the racing, because it was getting a little bit strung out.
So this is new after the very serious incident, obviously in Japan, where now everybody's being told recovery vehicle on track at turn 19, and teams, of course, are obliged to tell their drivers that. Some drivers in Japan, you know, went past that truck twice, like Fernando Alonso, and never knew it was there.
Because it was so murky and the rain was so hard.
It was only after the race or later on when they realised they'd passed a vehicle on track. That shows you how scary that was.
The FIA is saying in their report we're not going to be putting recovery vehicles on the track in those conditions until everyone is behind the safety car in future. As we look at the start once again.
Yeah, now when Carlos Sainz watches this...
Only watching the start for the 900th time because we got nothing better to do. The Williams of Alex Albon locked up
sort of hesitates almost
crazily.
the hill there. I think when he sees that, he'll realise he's got to be calmer. When you start moving around too much like that, it wasn't his fault, of course. He's left space on the inside, but cutting back hard like that.
You just cut across me.
Cutting back hard like that increases your risk. It's like being on the road, though, isn't it? Yeah. So Sainz had to get out. I've been waiting to see that. So Sainz got right up underneath the back. I wanted to see that on board. He had to hesitate, and he left space. But it's almost, you know, it's like being on the road. There's no point having action go. But it wasn't my fault if you could have avoided it. I'm not laying, you know. I'm just saying. Carlos was moving around a lot. He was on the racing line. It wasn't his fault. But you've got to make sure people don't run into you as much as you don't run into them, is the point I'm trying to make.
All of which is not the easiest thing to do at the start of a race where 20 cars trying to occupy the same piece of track. We have a safety car for the first time in Austin since 2015. If you're joining us,
Wow,
the US Grand
that's
Prix and you want to
crazy.
watch highlights of the action so far, you can do. Sky Q and Sky Glass customers, press your red button.
We're already almost halfway.
The live action, and I'm not expecting the safety car to be out for too much longer. They're very, very quick, the marshals here, at getting rid of the recovery vehicles. On the average, about 3 laps for anything to get cleared up, as we see the drone shot and Bernd Mailander leading the cars down towards the hairpin at turn 11. Let's head to Sky Race Control. Anthony Davidson.
Yes, so Crofty, you mentioned earlier on that they're looking into a moment between Mick Schumacher and Lance Stroll.
Yeah.
I've just had a look actually from Mick Schumacher's onboard, and it a bit on the exit of turn 1 off the track, but I honestly don't think Stroll will get a penalty for it. It looked just like Mick was trying to drive around the outside and ended up driving off the track almost by himself as he got a bit close. It was almost like he was filling a closing gap.
Yeah. Stroll was ahead at all times.
He was on the racing line, but I don't think that would be a penalty.
the guidelines that the FIA set down. Don't forget Lewis Hamilton's brakes changed before the start of this race. Risky thing to do.
Yeah, I was amazed on the grid when I finished the grid walk. You know, bits are still coming off his brakes, let alone going back on.
Good group, by the way, today.
Was it?
Yeah. Your back catalogue of Green Day served you well out there. It's good to see. We went through all the musical genres today. I was going to say, the FIA guidelines, if you are ahead going into the corner, it is rightfully your corner. And trying to go around the outside.
Yeah, watching Martin Brundle being able to make that many references to Green Day songs while talking to Trey, I don't know, that was something. Not sure if it's impressive or what, but it was something.
Constructors champions. Ferrari have to outscore them by 19 points for Red Bull not to be constructors champions here. So I think that means that Charles Leclerc has to win this race, and Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez hardly score anything at all. That is not happening at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure Sergio Perez, with his poorly front wing, needed, as the safety car is in this lap, needed a safety car, as it were.
Restart this lap.
And you've always got to be ready to drive off the track there in turn one.
Yeah. Crowd roaring the cars on through that high-speed section. That's the moment where Sergio Perez lost a bit of his front wing, or
I thought Bottas was gone there, not gonna lie.
That's the bit where it came off, is it?
Yeah, but Sergio Perez was so much faster through there. Valtteri Bottas a touch cautious, and there you get front axle to front axle.
Down to 10 then.
In mind with Sergio Perez's Red Bull, of course, those end plates are there for a reason. You know, they're very good at deflecting air in and around and over the top of the front tyres. So he will be suffering from some loss in pace. So I was looking at his lap times before the safety car, and actually he's doing a great job recompensing for that lack in downforce after losing that ending, Sergio Perez. But yeah, he's going to be close on Hamilton. Let's see how that fight goes. And as for Lando Norris, well, as for McLaren too.
Can't wait for this.
It's Alonso with the Alpine, the battle that they're in with the Constructors' Championship ahead of him now, thanks to that cheap stop under the safety car.
Safety car is coming in, so Max Verstappen's going to let Bernd Mailander go off into the distance, get back to the pits, so we can get racing again. It's Verstappen from Hamilton. They finished 1-2 in either order on 31 previous occasions in Formula 1. 11 wins for Verstappen, 20 wins for Lewis Hamilton, and they're 1-2 again, and they're going to be racing towards turn one. If Hamilton can stick with the Red Bull, if Perez, the other Red Bull, can stick with Hamilton, this could be quite explosive.
I hope Verstappen waits till the line, but you know he's going to dart probably by the time they reach 19.
Jump. When does he start to get going once again at full pace? It's well,
there he goes.
First, there he goes, and Hamilton, I think, was expecting that particular part, and he's certainly gone with him. And Charles Leclerc has George Russell right behind him. That could get quite tasty going into turn one. Can't overtake until you've crossed the line. And
here we go.
Verstappen has done now. We're racing once again. Leads Hamilton, leads Perez, leads Leclerc, leads Russell, top five, and Verstappen's got a very nice gap ahead then of Lewis Hamilton, behind George Russell. We'll see company from Lance Stroll on the inside of Sebastian Vettel. He's going to make a move. That Aston Martin. Vettel just stays ahead.
Oh, that's close.
Gasly Tsunoda battling there with Lando Norris.
One of the restart, so that's energized the race again, hasn't it? As what I think is one of the best views of a Formula One car at work. Through the snake from turn 3 there. It just slows down towards the end as they collect the car up there and cascade down the hill into another braking zone.
Rather uneventful so far, but getting under the straightaway now, so we'll see if that Mercedes has any pace. Whoa. Esteban almost killed Lando Norris. Oh, big crash! Alonso! Vettel? No, it's Stroll. Something happened to Stroll. Oh, that was scary. Yeah, I think Alonso's... He's driving away.
tracks. I don't know if one of them lost a tyre carcass or whether we think maybe Fernando Alonso connected with the back of Lance Stroll.
That scared the hell out of me.
To clear the debris away, otherwise you a great risk of more punctures.
What just happened?
If you can, you scoop by a bigger.
I got Mark Webber vibes from
the
that.
other side of the track to clear the trackway. Depends on the debris. That's going to need.
Yeah, there's a lot of debris.
Red flag. Let's go. Standing start though.
And Lance Stroll for next season and getting too close to each other on the track here this afternoon. Safety car.
I don't know what just transpired, but
Hit the back because he certainly was behind Lance Stroll.
Alonso went airplane mode.
So did Alonso hit the back of Stroll, and that's what caused the accident? He got hit for a bit.
Yeah, I was mighty relieved to see Fernando Alonso not hit the corner of the barrier near the service road.
You want to know what else that looked like? Truex and
the way that looks to me, that's probably got suspended
Custer
as well, I would
in the
say,
Cup race in the rain
on
last year.
Fernando
Here,
Alonso's car, because the way
at that same part of track.
Well, Fernando
Of course,
Alonso
that wreck was caused because of,
Lance Stroll, no chance to
I
get
assume, different reasons, since that one was caused by no visibility and pouring rain, but
away. So Alonso was behind Stroll. They've got a
what happened here?
turn 11. Let's have a look to see what happened here.
Alonso,
He did get very airborne. He goes to the left. And Lance
Stroll's an
moves
absolute
to the
idiot.
left to
Yeah,
try.
race.
That's when the contact is made.
Alonso wanted to take off
to
there.
the left. Just as he was
And I mean, if he takes there, he is not surviving. And I mean that. He is.
You okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Lance deserves all 12 penalty points to get him a suspension.
Pete Garage.
So, yeah. Well, to avoid that.
His backstrap slightly curved, so if Alonso is there, he's going to the fence well.
You okay? Yes, mate. Very late one.
Don't need to be saying that. It was a little late, Jink left.
I mean, Fernando moved late to make to get out of the turn, the slipstream, obviously getting the benefit for as long as he possibly could of that slipstream. And as soon as he moved, and Lance could see where he was going.
Wow.
As Fernando Alonso passes the scene of the
That was something.
button that needs to be recovered. As soon as Lance knew which way he was going, he then moves over to the left. Now, that's instinct, I would imagine, that you want to protect your place.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I understand what
It's
Fernando's
crazy.
saying there. That was a late so clearly when he popped up coming in the pit, that's obviously because he had a puncture. He had a car where the carcass was off the Aston Martin, wasn't it? So
All right, I didn't know we had to do that again. At least we'll be free from Lance Stroll.
picked up debris on
Oh,
the tyres
Detroit
and
got
passed
destroyed.
through there, but they look like they're going to cover it all off. They're a safety car and not a red flag. To me, I think I put a sweeper on the track there.
Let's just have a look. Mick Schumacher's view making his way through the debris. You can see that
There's a couple of other crashes trying to get through there.
Tires, which are obviously very and therefore very sticky. Fernando Alonso's going to drive through the debris too. Oh dear. And now there's a whole lot of smoke to drive through. Joe Guan Yu has come into the pits. I wonder if he did pick up a little bit of debris and they decided at Alfa Romeo, let's get you in and get rid of those tyres. So Joe Guan Yu makes his second pit stop in this race. We're on lap 24 of 56. Race controllers noted that collision.
Noted. I think you should put that under full investigation. And then after that, suspend Lance Stroll for the rest of the season.
In the top 7. At one stage, they've got Sebastian Vettel left in the top 6, but Stroll becomes the third driver to retire from this race. Valtteri Bottas causing the first safety car when he went off at turn 19. Look at the debris that Lewis Hamilton's picked up on his tyres too.
Lance Stroll runs out of talent, forgets how to drive a car, and starts a crash that very well could have killed a lot of people.
I thought it was a blower, but it's not. It's a recovery vehicle. Under safety car conditions, when you've got visibility like this and the grip of a slick tyre, it's a different story than to have a vehicle on the track, for example. If you're wondering, why is this fine, but everybody was so upset in Japan?
Yeah, you can see it here, and they're behind the safety car.
Yeah, you haven't got standing water, you've got grip, you've got...
It can be controlled.
Yeah.
So as I said, Lance Stroll out, Valtteri Bottas who caused the first safety car, and Carlos Sainz who was out at turn 1, lap 1. Ted Kravitz, down to you.
Just this thing across the team radio feeders to some of the drivers talking about debris and just what you're talking about, Martin, why we do not have a red flag here. Sebastian Vettel, Stroll's team, actually said that the debris is not that bad. And that there's a bit of grass and muck around, but if they just remove the larger pieces of carbon fibre and debris off his teammate car, presumably Fernando Alonso's front wing, then it should be okay to carry on. So I think race control are probably listening to those team radio messages as well.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I'm not a race director. I would have red flagged it. What I'm concerned about is when they get going again and start pulling left to overtake, they go through the rest of the debris. And you get punctures.
Cincinnati won.
Yay.
Yay.
They're satisfied they've got it
We're
clean.
4 and 3.
The reports back it's clean.
And as a reference, tire light for the medium was better than expected.
And he's on the hard tyre, so he probably doesn't want to hear that message, to be honest. All these safety car laps, Martin. If we might get a set of soft tyres being put on towards the end of this race.
And of course, you know, they always underfuel the cars to save weight. You don't want to carry a few kilograms of fuel around with you all race. So, yeah, luckily that did not go upside down. And it hit the barrier beyond the service road.
How Alonso doesn't have suspension damage is something else. That's what I'm saying. That was a lot like Mark in Valencia.
There's one wheel rode up over the other.
He's lucky that car set back down too, just before it hit the fence.
And they'll be going to the stewards' room after the race. It's going to be investigated after the race, and I think the stewards will want to speak to both drivers to have a chat, hear their side of the story.
Some impressive driving behind them, I must say. Living on your reflexes, ducking and diving around that.
Just a bit.
Alright, safety car coming in again.
Right.
Let's hope it's not Alonso Flight Lessons V2, because that's obviously not ideal.
Or do the same thing. It's like a penalty kick, isn't it? You get to win a game. Do you hit it the different way, or do you do the same thing?
I think if Perez had got a fully healthy car, it'd be better just backing Hamilton into his teammate a little bit, and he's got enough pace to control this race and see if Sergio can overtake him using the straight line speed of the Red Bull. But I think Perez struggles to warm those tyres up. He's going to be a bit of downforce, and not just on downforce on the whole car.
Here we go
Sergio
again.
Perez, but he's gone early.
So we've had 8 safety car laps here.
Max goes even earlier this time.
One-stop race. I wonder what that means then for the rest of this race, because we've still got another 30-odd laps to go, and we are going to be green once again. To remind you, you can't overtake before the line. They're crossing the line now. And then away from Hamilton, it looks a little bit closer this time around. Perez has got Leclerc for
close enough.
George Russell has got Sebastian Vettel for company.
Oh.
Into turn 1 we go. Verstappen has got the restart done well. There's a battle further behind. I think that's Esteban Ocon and Kevin Magnussen, who's ahead of Ocon for 11th place currently, is down. Hill we now go, and through the snake, the high-speed section, Sebastian Vettel nicely through the first part of that, gaining on George Russell. Out front though, Verstappen survived yet another safety car restart and survived it excellently.
And of course, as I know many of you already know, no drag reduction system, open rear wing for 2 laps after a safety car. So they say it can be dangerous. I don't understand why we keep that regulation in there, because but you know, while they're warming everything up and they've all been concertina together, I thought it was when you most need it. But then, having said that, you know, then we saw the safety cars generate safety cars. It's a well-known expression. in the motor racing business.
They certainly do. The bomb's generating a few sparks. Sebastian Vettel very close on
Okay,
this
well
lap.
nobody's
George
flying down
Russell,
the
I suppose,
backstretch this time,
waiting
so
a couple of laps for DRS.
we're all good
admitting
now.
It's the advantage that is lost. The car in front, with the safety car coming out, that makes it, I suppose, a little bit fairer. But I'm with you, Martin. Let's bring the DRS in after one lap. Let's get some more overtaking done. Max Verstappen out in front. Then Lewis Hamilton. Currently in second place. Verstappen has the fastest lap of the race. That's why he's scoring 26 points. Gasly running in 7th. Tsunoda, Norris, Schumacher in the final points places. Could be a key result for Mick Schumacher in a shootout for the Haas seat for next year with Nico Hulkenberg. Pierre Gasly being noted for being more than 10 car lengths behind the car in front during the safety car. You can't do that. You might find a penalty coming as Sergio Perez a few races ago, but for the moment, there we see Mick Schumacher on Lando Norris, even without DRS, into turn 1.
Yeah, Schumacher in the World Championship points. Does he need these? He needs a good day out, doesn't he? If he's going to have a chance of retaining that for next year, does young Mick?
Yeah. What happened to my drivability? It's strat 2.
Change something on your steering wheel, Max. We'll get that drivability back again. He's already
No, that's not what we want. We want Verstappen to be struggling.
As Brad Pitt been taking notes for that Formula 1 film, which he says is top secret. So I'm amazed he didn't tell you the plot line. Did you give him the CV for me and you? A couple of commentators did in that one?
No, he didn't break into it at all, actually.
He will be.
He was busy.
He will be when he sees our CV. Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, Leclerc. Did you notice that George Russell's got a little bit of damage to his front wing end plate as well? I'm wondering that collision with Sainz, whether he's dislodged a little bit on his front wing.
We talked about it earlier, the right front corner of his wing, but it looked like it was, to date, hanging on.
And hanging on well as he hangs on to fifth place. He has made a habit of finishing in the top 5 in this his first season with Mercedes. 15 of the first 16 races this season. He finished that top 5 with Dilly Lowe to get back into the top 5 again with Carlos Sainz, nearest rival in the championship, out of course of this race. Ferrari remaining. It is Charles Leclerc chasing after Sergio Perez. He's got within a second. Can he stay within a second? Because the DRS is now enabled. He might be able to use that extra 17 kilometres an hour extra pace to get himself alongside the Red Bull in front. Sergio Perez.
They are so quick on straight.
By the sounds of that, Martin is going to need every single kilometre an hour of those 17 kilometres, isn't it, Al?
Yeah, once again, he's like half second off the pace while Leclerc's in a bit of traffic, of course, but this is the straight he's talking about, and tremendous traction onto the straight.
Latifi fastest in the speed trap. Told you he's the best.
As we get down there, and here we saw Leclerc there.
Well, about 0.3 of a second.
Yeah.
I think faster down that straight.
But obviously we were at DRS in the Ferrari at that point. We had the rear wing open, so it gave us a bit of a false impression. It looked to me like we were catching him at the end of the straight.
With the DRS he was, but not by enough. Ted, let's head down to you.
News from McLaren. Lando's car is damaged. He's picked up some debris, Crofty, from that accident on the front left wing. Front left side of his front wing. So yeah, I mean that is a critical moment. We've seen critical point of creating downforce. We've seen with Sergio Perez it's not damaging the Red Bull too badly. So hopefully it won't be too degrade for Lando's performance as he's hunting down. I believe it's Tsunoda, who's very close behind the AlphaTauri ahead of him.
No, the Ravens won.
Tsunoda, Gasly is
helping his
teammate a bit by giving him some DRS. Norris has got the DRS, as has the Haas of Mick Schumacher behind. This battle from 7th to 10th as Zach Brown can join us once again from that McLaren pit wall. We've just heard debris causing a little bit of damage. Lando Norris's car. Zach, can you give us a bit more information?
Yeah, he's got some of the debris there in the accident with Fernando and Stroll. Doesn't look to be too bad, but any damage.
Well, has he sent you a postcard up on the pit wall there?
No, I haven't heard from him yet. We've got a long way to go in this race, so hoping something will still come our way.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Zach. Back with you a little later. It's all going to unfold here, isn't it? Down the straight as Charles Leclerc tries to make his way past Sergio
Oh,
Perez.
Charles, you're wide. Ah.
Sergio Perez is ahead, which means the stewards don't have to get involved in that one because Charles Leclerc stayed ahead of the Red Bull. That's definitely leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
Yeah, and I think Leclerc realised if he didn't, he was going to have a Red Bull in the side of him there. So let's get a better angle on that. And just about okay.
Well, this will be an interesting battle.
Sergio, we've locked up anyway, so absolutely fair cop getting back through.
Yeah, Sergio might have locked up, but Charles outbraked himself and locked up a little bit as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Leclerc there was making sure he didn't get run into.
You're right. Might have to try again here. Here we go once more. Bit of DRS. Let's see what he can do down that back straight once again. Still Gasly ahead of Tsunoda. Still Norris ahead of Mick Schumacher in that battle for 7th place. And Charles Leclerc behind Sergio Perez. Loving the fact that the cars can hang on to the car in front just that little bit better, Martin, in 2022 than we did 12 months ago.
Definitely. It just takes all the air out of your lungs when you keep pulling left G-force to the right, left, and if we were inside that car, you'd all be breathless within 2 or 3 laps. It just soaks your energy. It's
Breathless watching it. So, Sergio Perez, I think he's gone a bit deep into turn 11 here, and now Charles Leclerc with that DRS is catching him once again.
Here we go again.
He's got the speed. Can he be late on the pace?
Whoa.
The inside is going for it. Charles Leclerc, the crowd rule their approval. That was absolutely brilliant.
Too clean. George couldn't catch up.
Saw the gap, broke the latest, and managed to take 3rd place.
I don't know if there was a little love kiss in there somewhere. We'll say get a better angle, but a great move. And because he just gently turning the wheel left, he didn't lock an inside tyre. Really lovely touch on the brake pedal and steering wheel there from Charles Leclerc.
I love kiss or not. There's about 100,000 fans here and want to kiss Charles Leclerc for that, because that was a brilliant move. Now, did he keep the car fully on the track? Sergio Perez might be saying he went off the track. Oh no, he didn't. He was on the white line.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
From the disappointment of turn 1, lap 1, to a bit of celebration for the time being in that Ferrari garage. Charles Leclerc up into the podium places.
Yeah, I thought it was tremendous car control there from Leclerc. Very brave too. Of course, you need to trust somebody like Sergio Perez that he's going to give you a Ferrari's win. He won't give you any more, but great driving from all round there.
Podium picture at the last 4 races. He's never had 5 in a row. He's up into the podium places now, and there's a 5-second
Hamilton.
Pierre Gasly.
Okay, we don't care about Gasly. Hamilton, fastest for sector. Come on.
Just do it on the track.
He didn't. They'll show him afterwards, and Sergio, that's behind the safety car. Pierre Gasly has a 5-second time penalty. Ted, down to you.
So Hamilton is keeping in touch with Max Verstappen. Verstappen just did the fastest lap of the race a couple of laps
Safety
ago.
cars is not going to do anything. We need a full standing start once again. We need a red flag.
You know this Red Bull has inherent pace, but he's just bringing the tyres back in, trying to get the stint length they want. We're only about 5 laps away before the safety car from our second pit stops here. So those 5 laps will be extended a little bit more, maybe towards lap 40 or so for the second pit stops. But yeah, Hamilton keeping Verstappen honest. Now just, oh, and it's gone to 2 seconds now, actually. I was going to say that gap had never exceeded, never been more than 2 seconds. It is now. So maybe Verstappen starting to put his foot down a little bit.
Cursed it, cursed it. I think it's that middle sector, Martin.
Someone came in, I think.
Seems to have the big advantage
No.
over the Mercedes.
No.
But 8 laps behind a safety car.
Might have been that Haas who looked like they turned Schumacher.
And they're all saying the tyres are lasting better than they thought, but if you're Max...
Russell's back in DRS from Leclerc.
Some grip there. Gasly then.
This is just a replay from behind the safety car. You mentioned that 5-second time penalty, and yeah, you can see.
That's harsh. I think that's harsh.
Do you not think that's more than 10 lengths?
Oh, it absolutely is more than 10 lengths. You know, the car in front of you accelerated like crazy. I think it's really 50 metres you're talking about. I think it's really hard to performance these cars have got in a straight line.
Oh,
if
George.
just bolt,
That would have been bold.
loitering and playing
Would have been a crash.
that's anyway. It was more than 10 car lengths, but you know, you don't have a tape measure out in front of you, and I bet if you went down that pack, apart.
It's the battle of the damaged wings. Sergio Perez and George Russell. Russell's got a bit more being intact, and he's gaining on Sergio Perez. Last lap took him, I think, just to within under a second of that Red Bull in front. And he's got a bit of time here. Look, there we go, 9/10 of a second. So DRS will be enabled down this straight. Not as long as the back straight here. Will certainly give George a chance to reduce arrears by 2, 3, and maybe about 4/10 of a second by the time we get into turn 1. And the key for him here, Martin, can he be half a second behind at the end of this section?
Yeah, but we also know the Red Bull's so far straight line, don't we?
We certainly do.
Perez is out of DRS, as you say, on the Ferrari in front of him. So let's keep an eye on Leclerc's pace. It's kind of all right. I don't think he's been as quick this afternoon as I imagined he might be, Charles Leclerc.
Hamilton's 1.4 back.
Struggling in the gusty conditions here, Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly has been into the
Give it time. Give it time. This might not be over.
He served his 5-second penalty, and that's taken him out of the fight for 7th place. So his teammate Yuki Tsunoda.
George is way too far back, though.
Two drivers in the points in their home Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher's 9th and Kevin Magnussen's 10th.
Good for them. But we're a bit over half distance, of course. And if they can run long on this, they're going to make a second stop.
What happened to the quality? Why did it just go?
See, this time he went right.
Yeah.
It worked out a lot better for him.
Yeah. Just put in, didn't he?
This isn't 4K.
The oldest man on the track, but he's one of the bravest, isn't he? But,
This isn't 1080p. This is like 144. What's happening? Okay, there. Quality's back.
It's kind of one of those.
I hate my Wi-Fi.
It doesn't happen more often, incidents, but another met in the middle, didn't it?
That'll be an interesting topic of discussion when they meet for coffee and a chat on the 1st of January, when they become teammates.
Good point.
At Aston Martin, speaking of having a drink and a chat, Ed Sheeran enjoying himself with Stefano Domenicali, the head of F1, as into the pits comes Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda. So they're covering off what Yuki Tsunoda is doing. Maybe the undercut they're trying to pull on the likes of Lando Norris. Kevin Magnussen has now moved in 7th place. Well, Lewis Hamilton staying about a second and a half behind Max Verstappen at the moment, and he's slowly but surely just catching him a little bit. Behind these
What
two,
you like to
Charles
see,
Leclerc never finished on the podium.
because you never know what's going to happen between those two.
There's Sergio Perez, there's George Russell, and you can see that front wing end plate flapping around in the strong breeze after contact with Carlos Sainz on the first part of this lap. We're on board with our race leader.
I feel like it's hurting my comfortability, these track changes.
Understood, Max.
So is what's going on with the engine keeping Hamilton in touch and keeping the jeopardy alive in this race?
It is clearly they're fixing something, aren't they, or protecting against an issue.
Hamilton's undercutting, and this time it might work.
Could be a really good time to try and pull the undercut here. Hard tyres go on again for Lewis Hamilton. Another new set of hard tyres, 2.7 seconds. Would have probably liked that to have been about 2.4 seconds, because every 10th is going to count here. And this could be hammer time with Lewis Hamilton on a fresh set of tyres.
Oh, look at that clean track.
That could beat Max Verstappen.
Oh boy, get ready. Get ready.
Norris. Now, where are those behind him? Magnussen is still out on the track, and I'm looking for the likes of Yuki Tsunoda.
This turn 1 at Austin is a great turn to have the pit lane blend back into, especially if that's where Verstappen comes back out.
Cover that one off. So Hamilton's dropped down to P6, but he's got a lot of free air in front of him at the moment in a critical phase. If he can get some good sector times out of the way and hope that those in front of him make a pit stop.
Toto Wolff said on the grid, didn't he, that he's going to
Oh,
go aggressive today.
oh man, that car looks like it slid in the braking zone. I hope to no get through the corner, not gonna lie.
To put Lewis Hamilton into. Now, it might cost them a little later on in the race, towards the end of the as they've stopped that much earlier than Red Bull. But Verstappen has responded with the fastest first sector
Verstappen's
so far.
going to
Hamilton has now
box.
responded with the fastest middle sector so far. And as you can see on your screen just a couple of seconds ago, box was the instruction to Max Verstappen.
If this pit stop's like 2.93 seconds, this could be good. It's slow.
This is going to make it even less.
Lewis Hamilton's going to win.
What's happened to Max Verstappen in the pits on that front left?
Lewis Hamilton is going to win. Leclerc's jumped him.
And he's been beaten by Charles Leclerc in the pits.
180p, or no, 144p happening. Hamilton's going to win the Grand Prix.
Charles Leclerc also ahead of Max Verstappen. The crowd can sense that this race has changed dramatically in the last 4
What?
Now we've got a race on our hands. Medium tyres on the Red Bull and something now very much to prove.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
On the day when he could equal Schumacher and Vettel for 13 wins.
All right, Russell's got to come in and he's got to go. Come on, George. Need another safety car.
Well, we've had 36 laps, just kind of preparing. Now we go racing.
Now, Sergio Perez
Wasn't it Crofty who said this race was really going to unravel?
That might not stay that way for long, because look how George Russell is now all over the rear of the Red Bull of Sergio Perez. Sebastian Vettel in his last US Grand Prix is running third. Hamilton, though, has stopped for a second time, so he's the next de facto leader in this race. He's got 4 races left.
Lewis Hamilton
to save that record of his of winning
is going to win.
every season he's competed in. Has gone his way with that front left not tightening up properly.
You know, I was rooting for Hamilton because I wanted to see a close battle. I don't want Hamilton to do better than George. I get that it is Lewis Hamilton and he has 7 world championships, but it makes George look worse, you know?
The fastest that we've seen so far this afternoon, that goes to Sergio Perez, 2.1 seconds. Perez.
All right, George, you gotta go.
Behind him, Sebastian Vettel, then Lewis Hamilton up
He stands a chance.
There is Charles Leclerc ahead of Max Verstappen. That's going to get a bit tasty.
Uh-oh.
Verstappen is in the mood to try and make amends here. Around the
No.
outside, George Russell's going to
K-Mag, no.
Russell, he's come out behind the pass here.
This is bad.
Kevin Magnussen has only stopped once. They pitted Lewis Hamilton into a lovely gap. They haven't managed to do that for George Russell. And I think Martin Brundle, even without that mishap in the pits for Red Bull, it would have been...
Yeah, you don't need to tell me that. Max, we're in this together, mate. Head down. Come on.
Yeah, winning together, lose together. And the team have definitely, obviously, compromised in there. It balances out. You throw it in the gravel or the wall, but he'll be able to see Hamilton a long way down. He's got the DRS though. Can he get past this Ferrari? And Leclerc will not make it easy.
There goes George.
It's so difficult to defend down the back straight when the rear wing is open.
So there was one overtake down that back. It was George Russell moving up.
George didn't make that lap in contact. He'd probably be the race leader.
With Max Verstappen, who won from pole here last
Or
year,
the
followed out with a win from the front.
provisional race leader.
Very lovely for him until after the second safety car. Problems with his drivability, and then problems with the wheel guns, and that has relegated him down. He's now some 16.5 seconds off the lead of this race. Hamilton behind Vettel, just making his way up into turn 1 now, and we can see Verstappen behind Charles Leclerc. Leclerc moves to the inside to cover off the Red Bull. Just looking at the lap times, don't think this is a slam dunk for Lewis Hamilton. These two are really pushing each other on the medium compound tyres, and they're lapping about a second a lap quicker than the Mercedes in front of them.
But this is not the way that Verstappen would ideally want to bring these tyres in, having to go out and push them like crazy, sliding around in the slipstream of the Ferrari. But you're right, pair of at the moment are coming back back at Lewis Hamilton. They're on the mediums, Hamilton's on the hard compound.
And Pierre Gasly is going to have a note or a voice in his ears in a moment. Relegated him right down to the rear of the field. Apparently the penalty wasn't. I don't think he was stationary for long enough. He would have to come in here as
Off again.
into that first corner where Leclerc brilliantly got past Sergio Perez. There was no room on the inside. He's covering off Verstappen on that occasion.
Oh, see the Red Bull getting out of shape there.
Come on, Charles. Let's start tracking down Lewis.
From the lead, and suddenly Leclerc's come alive at the wheel of that. As
This race
Joe
is
Guan
crazy.
Yu gets himself a black and white warning flag as well.
Now Sergio Perez is in to
Obviously not the best race of the year, because Silverstone exists. Maybe not even the second best race of the year, because Saudi Arabia, but this is a great race. Whoa! Oh, Leclerc! He came back! Oh, wow. Okay, I spoke too early. Nothing's beating. Nothing's beating through goes Hamilton yet, though. I honestly think it was that piece of commentary that makes that race my favorite race of the season. But that pass that Lewis made at Silverstone was also one of the most insane, unexpected things I think I've ever seen. And then Lewis went side by side through tops with Charles Leclerc. Here we go again. This race is crazy, and it's not over yet. Still 18 to go. You could still catch him.
We might have a three-way fight here. Is the medium tire the right one to be on the yellow marked one? You can see
Perez got past Russell.
We know
Oh,
that the
man.
Mercedes has quite enjoyed the hard compound, and Lewis wasn't singing their.
Oh, this while Vettel's leading.
I think the hard compound tyre on that Mercedes is starting to come Lewis Hamilton's way too. Now, the battle between these two has not helped their lap times, but that was 0.3 of a second faster Verstappen than Hamilton on the last lap. So that big pace difference is now dropping off somewhat. And well done, Sebastian Vettel. He's retiring at the end of the season. It's 3,500 laps led now, not 3,499, which you never want to quit on, do you? Move by Verstappen and Leclerc in the turn one. Verstappen for trying it, Leclerc for knowing what was coming, and a much better move at the end of the back straight. This is when George Russell got ahead of Sergio Perez. It was always going to be tight. Russell got it.
Whoa, turn two. Whoa, that's risky.
On an awful lot longer than we fully expected.
And Perez ends up back in front again, Crofty. Yeah, but they're not too far behind. Going on there.
This is Verstappen making the move on Leclerc to take third place of Charles Leclerc. It's a net second. Sebastian Vettel will surely have to pit again. There he is, out in the lead of this race. Lewis Hamilton right behind him.
They're a lot faster, so Hamilton then's got to put Vettel in a bona fide position in front of him. Will not get out of the way for blue flag or anything, of course. So it's going to hinder Hamilton for a little while. He'll be wanting to dispatch the Aston Martin ASAP because Verstappen and Leclerc are both faster at this stage.
Sebastian will win from pole here in 2013 in a slightly more competitive car in terms of race wins. There's Aston Martin is the sun.
Here comes Lewis.
Dive down the inside for the lead of the race. Yes, he can. Vettel didn't really defend that one. Thought that was
Hamilton is leading once again. Lewis Hamilton leading. Oh boy.
41 out of 56.
Never thought this would happen back in, March, April, May, June, and can't say July because Silverstone also happened, and I thought he could have won that race, but this is crazy.
5 isn't done quite yet either.
George is not
Still
showing
within the
any
DRS
pace
track
right
reduction
now.
system 1 second that he needs to be, but they can get after Hamilton. They're gaining. Hamilton lost about a second, 1.2 seconds there, following Vettel on the previous lap. So maybe he'll get the same service when Verstappen turns up with Vettel.
Here comes Charles Leclerc once again. He's not got enough down that back straight to get within half a second of Max Verstappen. The top 3 here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen.
Hey, just an idea. What if we get a safety car with 6 or 7 laps to go in this Grand Prix?
2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, Crossy. Not too shabby, good to see.
Just a thought.
Fighting, I think he's about to make a pit stop. Yes, he is about to make a pit stop. So the Aston Martin crew come out, they've only got 1 car in the race, of course, so that would be Sebastian Vettel.
Maybe we could restart the race legally this time. Ooh, striking distance in 5 laps. Oh my god. Yes. This is gonna get crazy.
Sebastian Vettel into the pits then, and he's going to come out behind Sergio Perez.
Oh, get the tire on the car.
Oh dear, this could have been a podium position. The car is jacked back up. Now they need to drop it so he can go. Oh dear, poor Sebastian Vettel. A shambles there on the pit stop for Aston Martin.
Oh boy.
16.8 seconds station.
No, Vettel's not in the points anymore.
13th onto the racetrack. That is
Proves how close the field is in this race.
Oh,
What happened to Schumi? Why is he 15?
Perez, identical times in the first sector. Let's see what they turn up with they're on 42nd at middle sector.
But the key here is, Martin, that advantage that the mediums had over the hard compound tyres that was about a second a lap 5 laps ago is reducing lap after lap after lap here. It's now down to about 0.2 of a second. This could be quite the grandstand finish here today. Lando Norris is going to do his bit to give us some thrilling moments as he goes wheel to wheel with Yuki Tsunoda into turn 1. That was nice.
It was. Lando was so late on the brakes there. That was almost avoiding a crash as much as an overtake. Lovely.
While we watch that, Hamilton has just matched Max Verstappen in the first sector and was only a 10th down Verstappen in the middle sector. Around about 10 or so laps ago, there was about half a second difference between the Red Bull and the Mercedes in Verstappen's favour. Now it's come down to an awful lot closer.
Yeah, they gained 10 on Lewis, but at that rate, there's not enough, nowhere near enough laps left.
A British driver hasn't won this season.
Max and Charles.
That is a shocking realization.
In 2012, Lewis Hamilton passed Sebastian Vettel on lap 42 to win the first race in Austin here. Past Sebastian Vettel for the lead on lap 41 today. Told you we were going back in time a little bit as Lando Norris and Joe Guan Yu at the top of the hill. Norris with damage to his car because of debris after the accident that took out Lance Stroll from this race. He's still battling on with just a point to his name at the moment. Alpine in that battle for 4th place in the championship, winning out today. Alonso 7th and Ocon 8th. Alex Albon up in the points once again.
Come on, Max, get up there.
That will be the first points in Spa for him. Kevin Magnussen running 6th for Haas, which would just be a magnificent finish, but trying the one-stop strategy, I wonder. He hasn't pitched for a second time.
Let's just consider Fernando Alonso's afternoon. At one point, he nearly turned up on the radar at the International Airport. Went to the back. Which car is now
I don't know why that's...
7th ahead of Esteban Ocon.
Let's go, Green Bay lost again.
But what an afternoon he's had in many respects.
Meanwhile, Latifi's been given a 5
Dude, Martin
second
Brundle's a
time penalty
legend.
for forcing another driver off the track. That driver was Mick Schumacher, who's currently running in.
That was an awesome statement.
Gap, 2.7
Awesome.
seconds. Hamilton over Verstappen. Leclerc still running with a DRS range of Max Verstappen. The top 3 separated by 3.5 seconds.
Wasn't expecting to hear that either.
Barely anything.
It's not something I'd expect Martin Brundle to say. 2.6, 2.6.
Good while. If big lap to close that much.
I'll be right back. 2.4.
Hamilton had a bit of a moment as Lando Norris going around the outside of Alex.
I'll be right back.
Into turn one. Lando Norris moves up into 9th place. He's rather enjoying himself at the first corner. I wonder if Hamilton had a turn 9. He had a lap time deleted. Did he go off the track and lose a bit of time as a result of that? Verstappen, another 2/10 on Hamilton during this part of the lap in the first sector. Another 4/10 in the middle.
Yeah.
They've switched on those medium compound tyres now. Forcing another driver off the track. Mick Schumacher, they both ended up off the track, and the steward decided that was all Latifi's fault. Under braking, locking up, losing control.
Yeah, he wasn't in.
All right.
Fully in control.
I gotta do my driver of the day vote.
I think that's
Oh, Nicholas, what have you done? Well,
Finish coming up here, and it's who can look after their tyres and get the speed
made my
at the
vote.
same time. And it's a
And I obviously picked Lewis because he's taking this boat and leading an F1 race with it.
Saved out Max Verstappen on that day to go on and take one of those 32.
Love how Max Verstappen had 10 race wins at the start of last season.
Hamilton and Verstappen, Hamilton a 10th ahead during Norris, who's got DRS and is really finishing strong in this race. And a little over the bump of smoke there.
The bump of smoke? Okay.
Yeah, Lando's in that mode where every going to break later, and I'll sort out when I get off. He seems to have plenty of grip to do that as Lewis Hamilton punches in his best lap of the Grand Prix, and crucially, a few hundredths faster than Verstappen.
So the gap then, this lap, is about a couple of tenths faster in the first civil set, 1 faster through the first sector. 10-lap-old medium compound tyre against 11-lap-old hard compound tyre for Lewis Hamilton. There's a bit of cat and mouse going here, maybe a bit more use of the recovery system, extra deployments on one lap and then recharge the battery on the next.
I think that's what Perez was doing, because he's 8/10 punching out the next lap. Verstappen a 10th quicker on the first sector of this. Just looks ever now, doesn't it, to ladies? And this feels so familiar, doesn't it?
4/10.
We got to see this, what, sometimes last season. A couple of times it ended great. Almost every time it ended controversially. A couple of times neither finished the race, or one of the two finished the race. And never was it boring. It's getting crazy. Oh, Briscoe crashed. Well, there goes his chances of making Phoenix. He's 7/10 away from picking DRS. This is going to be crazy.
When these two have been involved. Started third, now first, going for his first win of the season. Lewis Hamilton has 2 seconds advantage over Max Verstappen, but that advantage seems to be disappearing even more.
All right.
Fastest first sector of the...
What race is this going to turn into from last season? Is this going to be like...
Whatever shirt you're wearing and whatever driver you're cheering for. This is brilliant Formula One action.
Is this going to be like Bahrain or Imola, where really nothing happened between these two? Is this race going to be like Bahrain, where they had a good fight, but in the end, Hamilton still won because he was leading? Is this going to be like Monza Silverstone, where one of, if not both of them, crash out? Or will it be like the fourth choice, the unprecedented safety car, and then Abu Dhabi restart?
Constructors Championship, and their first since 2013.
A one-lap shootout at Coda. I don't know how well that would go down, honestly.
Second half away.
Probably
from Lewis
better than
Hamilton.
Abu Dhabi, I think.
Medium tyres working that much better. Has Hamilton been saving any in
But you never know.
reserve? What is
Abu Dhabi could actually be really good this year with this car. I see a lot of potential for that race. Brazil too, probably going to be pretty good. I think Mexico next week might be the worst race before the end of the season. That's my prediction. Next week's race could be the worst race for the rest of the season.
And that 6th place is where Sebastian Vettel should have been competing for. Had he not have had that horrific problem at the pit stop, it would have been back-to-back 6th place finishes. But there he is. He's on the back of a DRS train on fresher tyres. Yuki Tsunoda, Joe Guan Yu, Alex Albon ahead of him. So there could be a couple of points available for Vettel if he can put those tyres to good use. Meanwhile, out in front, Hamilton a 10th ahead in the first sector, Verstappen a 10th ahead in the middle sector. Gap still stays at 1.5 seconds.
So, yeah, Verstappen now, this next couple of laps, he needs to get in the DRS, doesn't he?
He needs to get that advantage down the straights before his tires die out.
Because that's worth 0.6.
Yeah.
If you can get the rear wing up, it's still debris on that back straight.
No, I think that just...
His way then, past
Was that run over? Was that really run over?
Magnussen. I didn't know if that debris had come off the back.
Yeah, I thought that came off.
Just something that they'd come off the back of the Alpine, or they picked it up from the track, and it was bouncing away on the track, wasn't it?
It was Alonso's mirror.
This race really has been a lot like Silverstone. Very hyped up. Big crash. Chaos in a oh, it was the mirror? It was his mirror. Yep.
The minute he moves from behind, out of the slipstream, there it goes.
Yeah, but don't forget that mirror had a fairly heavy landing earlier on, didn't it? There it is. That's not a nice thing to be in the middle of the racetrack.
Well, been a bit overweight that car, isn't it? The Alpine made it a bit lighter. The mirror falling on.
And if you're wondering, yes, they get weighed at the end of the race. And
Giants won. Giants won.
Now, you know, you wanted, well, you said
He's 8/10 behind.
Max needed to get in that second. Yeah, he's done just that. Look, the gap now is
With
well
8 laps coming to 7 to go.
have DRS in his fight with Lewis Hamilton. The moment has been coming, hasn't it, for the last few laps? Verstappen, bit by bit, has been getting closer. And it's all eyes on the monitors, and it's fingers crossed, isn't it, in both garages? I'm sure that's the tension inside the Mercedes garage. Out on the track, these two doing what they do best, trying to win races and really going for it. And
oh boy.
Close enough to go for it into turn 1 this time around. He looked like
It's Hamilton versus Verstappen in 2022. Here we go. Let's get ready for the back straight. Back stretch is going to be crazy, man. Into turn 13, 12, whatever it is. See, that's turn 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's turn 12. Okay.
There's about a 7-mile-an-hour advantage, Red Bull over Mercedes.
Here we go.
Going through the speed traps.
Will they collide? Will it be like Monza? He's losing a bunch of time.
He's managed to stay very well in touch with
Good corner though.
They make their way then out of turn 11. Sebastian Vettel is up into the points again. And into
Big gap, but remember the Red Bull engine.
As the track rises up, drops down again, and Verstappen
Remember the Red Bull engine. Here he comes. He's defending. Not going to happen. Oh, here comes Lewis. Oh. Oh, Lewis trying. Lewis trying. He's going to have another chance. It's not over yet, though, because that Mercedes has been fast on the front straight. Got to remember. Hang on, watch out right here. No, Lewis is not giving him anything.
Yeah, I think they're talking about
It's over.
Lewis moved under braking in any event. There was enough space there. So, and of course, they'll be wanting to win this
It's
race.
over.
When their founder, Dietrich Mateschitz, died yesterday for the team. But it's equally important for Mercedes to win this. Lewis not giving it up easily. Max gets on the power. We've moved away, but yeah, there was just nothing. It was quite a late move from him there. I can understand why Max didn't appreciate it too much, but there was enough space to get through. But as I said, faster tyre, faster car, DRS, and the Mercedes went down at the end of the straight.
Last Lewis Hamilton.
Number 44, Lewis Hamilton, as they make their way down the
And it's not going to
straight.
happen.
Still got DRS as Lewis Hamilton. Is there a late lunge from Hamilton this time around? Not quite, but he's sticking with it. Hamilton thinks Verstappen's going off the track, and he wants it to be known to everyone.
Okay,
he's
bud.
seeing all four wheels over
You know,
the line. I'm sure the stewards are looking at
Hamilton whining
some
over something that
seconds,
doesn't exist.
behind. This particular battle was Checo Perez.
You need to make sure you're safe on track limits now, please, Max.
With Checo Perez trying to gain on him, but only by 1/10 of a second. George Russell in the top 5 once again, and a long way clear. Fernando Alonso.
Loves Alonso
running in
P6.
6th place. 5 laps to go, Martin.
Yeah, that's the only thing now that can catch Verstappen. Now I know I haven't seen him getting a warning, I don't think, but we've had so many warnings. We're on page 7 or something by now. I know that Hamilton got a warning at 24 minutes past the hour for track limits, but I don't think. Oh yes, Verstappen, 32 minutes past the hour, a warning. So he needs to keep it on the road.
It was still like 7 minutes ago.
The outside of Alex Albon, Sebastian Vettel into 9th place.
Well, that was amazing.
Very much on the road as Albon tries to dive down the inside and get back in front of the Aston Martin. Hamilton still within DRS range.
Hamilton's only 6/10 back.
Straight. Vettel leads Albon over the line.
Can we see what's happening?
Yuki Tsunoda and Zhou Guanyu. And by the time that Verstappen and Hamilton get to turn 12, only half a second between them.
Yeah, so now Verstappen takes a 5-second penalty if he runs wide again.
Yeah, so use up all your stripes now, Max. They need to be safe on track limits.
Yeah, aiming for the home run here, Max Verstappen, 3 strikes and you're out in Formula 1. We've got 5 laps to go, so let's head down to Tech Rabbits.
Please stop making baseball references. Not really in the mood, given how the last couple of nights have gone.
Is Sebastian Vettel going to have enough laps? Trying close on Kevin Magnussen, trying the one stop, isn't he, after the safety car?
I might be a Yankees fan, but the Red Sox are not my least favorite team. They're only my second least favorite team.
It's going to be a good fight towards the end. Can Kate hold on with Vettel chasing?
It's times like this where I wish the Astros I actually kind of enjoyed. Maybe it wouldn't make it that bad, but you know, they cheat. I hate 3/4 of the players on the team. I don't like Houston. It's as simple as that.
The corner ahead, but why? So that's going to let the Williams come back on the track with a bit of an advantage, and then we see Vettel managing to get past through the next right hand.
Max has done the fastest first sector of anybody in the entire Grand Prix. He's hanging on the back of that Red Bull.
Yeah, Max has definitely not got away from Lewis Hamilton since he took the lead of this race.
So Max now at 3 strikes.
Hamilton is just keeping everyone up to date as to where he thinks Max is going off the track and leaving it. Remember, it's the white line that defines the edge. All 4 wheels over the white
Big
line.
lockup.
Exceeded track limits.
Oh, there goes this race from Lewis.
You get a penalty in the race itself.
A turn 12 incident involving 4 cars.
Vettel going off the track, I think, there, and coming back still ahead of the 3 cars behind him, not behind Alex Albon.
Hamilton then with another track limits at 40 minutes past the hour, so he must be getting close to a strike.
Copy.
It's a run running commentary, but crucially
Oh,
on the
boy.
last lap, Max Verstappen has pulled out to over a second ahead of Lewis Hamilton. The DRS has Lewis Hamilton.
This is turning into a track limits race. Lewis has lost DRS. It's over.
Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes really complaining under
Hunter Verstappen's tire is going to die.
So Max Verstappen
He's on the
then
mediums.
might
They
be
should
able
be
to breathe a
going
little bit more
soon.
easily. He's aiming for win number 33
I think
in
Lewis
his
should back
career.
off,
Car
cool
number
down his
33
stuff,
when it's not running the one.
charge the
Black and white flag
ERS
for
up,
Lewis
and
Hamilton for exceeding
go for
track
it on the
limits.
final
Now,
lap.
they've got to be careful.
Hamilton now also 3 strikes on track limits, so just keep it safe from here, Max.
33 wins for Max Verstappen, by the way. Coincidentally, matches the win total of all American drivers combined in Formula One. But it's going to be a special win today.
What American drivers have won F1 before? Bet it was all Scott Speed, the greatest American driver to ever exist in the history of driving.
To win the race, to claim the Constructors' Championship
Scott Speed.
well, it's what he would have absolutely loved to have been.
Can't beat him. He's just too good.
That he laid the foundation.
The gap's opened up. It's over.
Seen obviously Max getting the title. That Kira situation at the end of the race in Suzuka, but he sadly is going to miss the team taking another Constructors' Championship.
I think Mr. Slap at the moment. Meanwhile, Lando Norris is gaining on Fernando Alonso down the back straight. Sebastian Vettel still getting a lot closer to Kevin Magnussen. So there are still a few things to unfold between now and the checkered flag. But out in front, Verstappen has had to work so hard.
Russell is in.
Problematic that saw him stationary for way longer than he wanted. It brought him out behind Charles Leclerc. He managed to get past the Ferrari and eventually managed to get past Lewis Hamilton, who has tantalisingly come within touching distance of a race win here this afternoon. He's given it absolutely everything and will be disappointed, I'm sure, with second. Can take great heart in the way that Mercedes and himself.
Oh.
Yeah, the rear tyres have really gone away quite quickly now for Lewis Hamilton. So he's done and dusted in terms of the fight now. That's over. Perez still a couple of seconds behind Leclerc for the final position.
Hamilton
And Russell with a great chance of
is done.
and a point for fastest lap, as you rightly predicted.
Well, waiting. Tim Cook with the checkered flag.
Tim Cook.
To wave.
He made my phone.
3 seconds.
Or something like that.
For Max Verstappen.
Came up with the idea. I don't think he legit built my phone and, you know, put it together, but he made the company. Or owns it, or CEO. I'm not good with business terms. CEO owns it, right?
13 wins for Red Bull, alongside Michael Schumacher with 13 wins for Ferrari.
He didn't make the company, obviously.
In a single season, and he's still
But
got 3 races to hold that record for himself.
Yeah, but as he rightly said in the interview earlier on the show, we do a lot more racing now, so, you know, I'm not going to claim too much credit for more races in the season, but nonetheless, they all say they're not interested in the stats, but I'm sure they're pretty nice to have when you look back on your career.
They make really nice reading, don't they? Lando Norris is ahead of Fernando Alonso for 6th place. He's managed to pass him down that back straight. Still, Sebastian Vettel behind Kevin Magnussen, gaining on him. But as he makes his way down the back straight, no one is coming within touching distance of this man again.
With some great drives today, haven't we? Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Leclerc making his way through. Sebastian Vettel, tremendous drive apart from that horrible pit stop. Lando Norris, been really punchy on the brakes. Fernando Alonso, flying through the air. Absolutely winded, wasn't he? He landed so hard, and still he's back up into 7th place.
In the land of the Longhorns, it's the Red Bulls that are on top once again.
That's fitting.
Max Verstappen, just a few more corners to go.
Verstappen's gonna win for the 1 millionth time this season, and for the 2 millionth time since the start of last season.
2022, it's celebrations for team and for drivers.
Hamilton in second. Does George get the fastest lap? Oh, the fireworks.
Prix. Lewis Hamilton comes home to take there for the first
Well,
time.
that race was 5 stars, second best of the year.
Comes home to finish on the podium too. What a splendid drive from each and every one. And the end's still not over. Kevin Magnussen on the inside.
Oh, come on,
Sebastian
Seb.
Vettel
Come
trying
on.
to fight him. Magnussen going for the one stop. He's barely got any grip there.
This is the part where Vettel's got to pull the Max Verstappen in turn 18 or whatever it is. 18.
We'll see if they can take that.
Oh, shoot. We got a 5-second penalty now, too. Here we go.
Try and take Kevin Magnussen, who's
Oh, around the outside. Oh, he almost lost it.
Has he got the move done?
Oh, he's got it.
Makes the fastest lap of the race now. He's got the move done. The fireworks are going off.
Seb just pulled the best move of the entire year.
Explosive action. Norris 6th, Alonso 7th. Sebastian Vettel comes home to finish 8th ahead of Kevin Magnussen and Yuki
Wow.
Tsunoda.
Russell fastest lap, too. Extra point for him.
After an epic United States Grand Prix.
So driving like a man possessed, and he's retiring. It's a shame. What a super, incredible drive from Vettel.
Seb's scaring me.
You are world champion. We are world champions. Thank you so much. And
He didn't do the champion of the world thing.
for us, for this team, and
Crofty. Oh, he forgot.
This one was for Dietrich. I gave it everything.
He was supposed to do it this week. Oh.
Yeah, I was a bit upset, but I just, I just keep pushing. And yeah, congrats guys, what an amazing season to win also the constructors.
This season's officially invalid.
yeah, fantastic result, Max. And, another milestone. I think that was your 13th win as well this year.
He didn't even do it for Red Bull. He could have done it for Red Bull in the constructors. You
Three
know,
more chances.
champion of the world.
He did that.
Well, that's like Crofty's second most iconic line.
They do like the stats. After all, it wasn't a
Other than it's lights out and away we go. That's like his iconic championship winning line.
special day for them, and you can understand the emotion on Christian Horner's face with everything that's happened the last 24 hours.
Yeah, Max dug them out of a hole there, but what goes around comes around in a team, and it's,
That's crazy.
Formation flying then on the way in.
George Russell, another fastest lap. You have to see it.
Nice work, Lewis. That was a great drive, mate. Absolutely splendid day, that one. Oh, so close, mate. But yeah, we'll get him next
All right, I'm done. Time to see how this NASCAR race is turning out.